My name is Howard Hai. I'm the Vice President of the Japanese American Veterans Association. On behalf of the Japanese American Veterans Association and the National Japanese American Memorial Foundation, I thank you for joining us to honor the legacy of service, military service, of selfless men and women in defense of our country throughout our nation's history. This event has been selected by the National Veterans Day Committee, which is part of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, as one of the Veterans Day observances all throughout the country that represents a fitting tribute to honor the America's heroes. Now, before we start, please rise for the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. The first speakers will be co-sponsors of this event today. First will be Mr. Gerald Yamada, the president of the Japanese American Veterans Association, followed by Ms. Christine Minami of the National Japanese American Memorial Foundation. Gerald, please.
Thank you, Howard. First of all, I want to welcome everybody here on this beautiful day to our program. And I say that because every Veterans Day is a beautiful day. But anyway, welcome to the Japanese American Veterans Association's program. JAVA is again pleased to have the National Japanese American Memorial Foundation as a co-sponsor for this event. The theme for this year's Veterans Day is honor. What is honor? Honor can be defined to mean to treat a person with respect because of who they are or what they have done. On February 9, 1942, President Roosevelt stripped away the honor of Japanese Americans solely because of who they were. By signing Executive Order 9066, he legally authorized disrespect for Japanese Americans solely because of their background. Congress passed legislation to make it a crime to violate the curfew authorized under Executive Order 9066. And the Supreme Court held that the President was within his authority to issue the executive order as a matter of national security. Japanese Americans were no longer to be treated as loyal U.S. citizens. Their constitutional rights were denied. They were called non-aliens. In 1943, military service opened the way to restore our honor. By the end of World War II, 33,000 Japanese American men and women raised their right hand to swear an oath of allegiance to defend our nation. They showed great personal courage. They put duty to country first. They served in Europe, in the Pacific, in military hospitals, and in rebuilding Hawaii. Their heroic service in the face of overt prejudice created the legacy that restored honor to all Japanese Americans. That legacy has been embraced by all three branches of the federal government. President Ford revoked Executive Order 9066 in 1976. In 1988, Congress admitted that the executive order was a wrong committed by America, and the Supreme Court called it a morally repugnant order in a 2018 opinion. On this Veterans Day and every day, let us be grateful for the patriotism of the World War II Japanese American soldiers who restored our honor. We thank them for their service and for the legacy they forged for us. We thank all who are serving and have served by putting country first, duty to country first, and defending our nation. Thank you. Christine?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Veterans Day. My name is Christine Minami, and I bring you greetings and, more importantly, thanks from the board of the National Japanese American Memorial Foundation. I'd also like to thank JAVA for all the work you guys did to put this event together today. I'm really, truly appreciative. The National Japanese American Memorial Foundation is the nonprofit organization that worked to create this lovely, albeit wet, space more than 20 years ago, building on the legacy of the veterans whose vision it was. And we continue now to partner with the National Park Service to ensure that the physical memorial and all it represents remains strong. The memorial stands for patriotism, and that's why we're here, to honor our patriots, to honor our veterans. Patriotism takes many forms. The patriots invoked by this memorial are those who, in the words of the late Norman Mineta, remained steadfast in their faith to the democratic system, even when our country unjustly incarcerated them. Another type of patriotism is the kind of patriotism that seeks to right injustice, as Ronald Reagan did when he said, "Here we admit a wrong." Both of those quotes are inscribed here on these walls, on this memorial to patriotism. We honor that patriotism as well as the kind of patriotism that leads a person to volunteer to put his or her life on the line for their nation, for ideals, for people they know and people they don't know. I'm in awe of that courage, that dedication. I am in awe of those of you who have served. As a mother, I know I would give my life for my son in a heartbeat. It might take a few seconds more to decide that for my husband, sorry sweetie, but I know that it takes a special type of person to put their life on the line for people they don't know, or for people who might not even appreciate what they're doing for them. I think about those who committed themselves to the ultimate form of public service and risked, or maybe even gave their lives for me and people like me. And that's what we honor here today. their courage, their duty, their honor and service. Today is the only federal holiday that celebrates a group of men and women who are still alive. In your honor, we gather across the country and we say thanks. I myself am not a veteran, and I have to admit that when I was asked to say a few words today on behalf of the foundation, I immediately felt quite uneasy. I felt like a fraud. I suggested there's probably a lot more people who are more qualified than me to be here making some remarks. I can't speak from the experience of a veteran. I can only speak to my gratitude as an American, and I am grateful. Many in my family, like so many of you, served in uniform, or tried to, like my grandfather who volunteered from camp but was rejected, or like my older brother who is a colonel in the Maryland National Guard and a veteran of combat operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Balkans, or my younger brother who served in the Air Force, or my fellow Memorial Foundation board members who have served in military service and staff positions around the world, or our veterans of World War II who are here on the wall, and others who fought for American values at home and abroad. Their service to this country continued well beyond combat, like Terry Shima, whom I'm sure you all know, or the millions of men and women who have worn the uniform with pride and served with honor, and those of you who continue to do so, like our featured speaker today. In this place of quiet dignity here at the National Japanese American Memorial to Patriotism during World War II, I say thank you to our veterans for your service, for their patriotism, for their sacrifice, for their honor, for their love of country. I am grateful not only to you who have served, but also to those who paved the way for you and those who will follow in your footsteps. Whether or not you know me, you did this for me and my family. Whether or not you hear me, you have my respect, appreciation, and admiration. Let me close where I began, thinking about patriotism and honor. As some of you may have noticed, there was a national election this week. Millions of Americans went out and exercised their right to vote. I believe that every voter is a patriot. Each time we exercise that right, we honor the legacy of our veterans who defended core American values of democracy and freedom. Each time we speak up against an injustice to right or wrong, we honor the legacy of our veterans too. On these walls, there's also a quote from Mike Masaoka, a veteran from the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. He was proud to be an American of Japanese ancestry. He believed in this nation's institutions, ideals, and traditions. He boasted of our history and trusted in our future. Me too. I think about the courage of the veterans on whose shoulders we stand and whose legacy of freedom we enjoy and celebrate. And I'm grateful and humbled and deeply proud. Thank you. Today and every day we honor you. I wish you all a very happy Veterans Day. Thank you.
Next, to introduce our distinguished guest speaker, we have our own Captain Wade Ishimoto, U.S. Army retired, to introduce her.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'll try to keep this short, but also inject some humor into this rather dreary, but also beautiful day. So, it's an honor and privilege for me to be able to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Monica Williams. She is truly a unique person. Okay, she is a second-generation immigrant of Korean descent. She went to college in Staunton, Virginia, and majored in computer information science. She was commissioned into the United States Army as a chemical officer and later became an intelligence officer. So she then combined her computer skills with her chemical skills and conned her husband, Sean, into marrying her. And Sean is with us here today. So, one young ladies, and she is young, today it's their wedding anniversary also. So, congrats. Going back, as I mentioned, she's by the Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And then to military, where she joined the 313th Intelligence 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg. She during that period of time, she led during the platoon. She had the ability to start being introduced into all of the various arts of intelligence, ranging from signals intelligence to human intelligence, intelligence analysis. So truly a unique person. She went where again deployed this time to Afghanistan, and then made a fatal mistake. That fatal mistake was deciding to become a member of the United States Special Operations Community. And for she has never left. Okay. She has served in very special mission units, doing some very against terrorists and others around the world. Monica, would you come up to show people some things? Okay. First off, on her right, 4 stripes. Each stripe 6-month complete deployment overseas in a combat situation. Whether you understand it or not, but the entire time that the 442nd Regimental Combat Team was in combat was about 2 years. And because she has done other deployments where in fact she was not given credit for a full 6-month tour. But nonetheless, she was in a danger close situation, as you can see by that badge up on the top there. The second badge, parachutist badge. Japanese. What woman would be so crazy as to go and become a parachutist? Jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Worse yet, then this badge down here depicts that she is a graduate of military freefall. Now, some of you think of that as being skydiving. I assure you, it is not. Picture her at an altitude above 12,000 feet on oxygen with a combat pack on her back that she's got to jump out of at 12,000 plus feet, become stable, and open her parachute somewhere around 2,000 feet and sometimes less, and safely land on the ground. She's done that. The next badge over there is when you're smart enough, you fly in. So that's a badge, which she is also proficient in. So, and unique things that Lieutenant Colonel promotable, she will be promoted to full colonel very shortly. Today, Operations Command, Legislative in Washington, D.C. Again, to introduce Lieutenant Colonel promotable Monica Williams.
Thank you, Uncle Ish. Thank you, Uncle Ish, for that very generous and I think embellished a little bit introduction, but that is appreciated. Events of the past charted the path to where we are today. Standing here at the Japanese American Memorial to Patriotism, a remembrance of the Japanese Americans during World War II, I think about those Asian American veterans before me who placed duty and loyalty above their limited liberties and justice just 8 decades ago. Today, the anniversary of Armistice Day, the day that ended World War I, saw peace for several years after. Then the world was struck, and the U.S. was brought into the war after the attack on Pearl Harbor. With known devastation and horrors of war, many Americans volunteered for something greater than themselves. They volunteered to defend those who cannot. The terror of war created prejudices and suspicions in the United States towards German, Italian, and Japanese Americans. Japanese Americans were ostracized, then isolated, and despite the fact that they were citizens, they were American citizens, not in heart, and they too wanted to volunteer to defend their country and to defend those who cannot. Despite their families' futures, segregated unit. Men volunteered from Hawaii and the mainland. The 100th 442nd Regimental Combat Team fought with valor in Italy and in France. 21 Medal of Honor recipients, 29 Distinguished Service Cross, 5 6 Purple Hearts, and many more individual awards. Approximately 18,000 men served in this distinguished unit. However, honor is not defined by the medals, but by the person. And I can't talk about honor without and their love for their country, their families, and their teammates. In October 1944, Medico Kubo exposed himself to machine gun fire, minefields, grenades, and obstacles to reach his wounded comrades and provided cover, treatment, and extractions. In 2 days, he treated over 24 men, placing the care of wounded above his own safety. In July 1940, in Italy, Ono and a squad Ono neutralized a machine gunner and a sniper. A platoon was ordered to withdraw. He under constant fire and little to no cover, focusing on the safety of his teammates over his own. In fact, an American joined this distinguished unit, Lieutenant Battalion. His commanding officer, but Kim stated, "I am an American, and all the soldiers are Americans. We are fighting for the same cause." At the Battle of Anzio during broad daylight, Kim volunteered to capture German soldiers for intelligence information. He and Private Irving Akahoshi crawled more than 800 yards, infiltrating German lines with no cover. They captured information that significantly contributed to the fall of Rome. Nisa, an intelligence officer, I know languages and cultural understandings are imperatives. Before the bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941, the War Department acknowledged the lack in their military intelligence services. War Matsumoto graduated from that language school and volunteered for a special assignment with the unit now known as Marauders. Operating behind Japanese lines in Burma, Matsumoto's language skills, bravery, repeatedly gained critical intelligence on Japanese disposition and supplies. In 1944 of April, Matsumoto was assigned to the Green Team of 2nd Battalion, who was surrounded and cut off. Once again, he volunteered to infiltrate enemy lines, risking being captured and killed, to gain critical intelligence of enemy forces. 2nd Battalion at that time was able to set up a trap with Matsumoto's intelligence and quick thinking. Enemy forces suffered heavy casualties, and 2nd Battalion suffered none. Matsumoto saved the lives of the Green Team. Japanese Americans serving in the military intelligence service interpreted over 18,000 captured Japanese documents, interrogated over 10,000 captured prisoners, developed enemy surrenders, and saved innocent civilians. General Douglas MacArthur said the Nisei shortened the war by 2 years with their service. I would be remiss if I did not highlight the Japanese American women who served in the Army Nurse Corps and the Women's Army Corps. Their drive and service to our country charted the way for women veterans like me. Almost all Americans can trace their heritage to this country as immigrants. From Korea, by blood, American in mind and heart. I reflect back at the men and women of this greatest generation, and despite the prejudices and discriminations they endured, they opened doors for Asian American generations who followed. I wish I could have a second today. While their families were incarcerated and were treated unfairly, are a true reflection of selfless sacrifice for their love of their country. They honored their families, many of whose parents are aliens. Their reflections of their character and their merit, a core organizing principle of this country. They earned the confidence of officers during their time and will be remembered and honored by the content of their character and not of their appearance. Nisei soldiers continued to serve with honor after military service in their communities, in civic organizations, and in government. These veterans continue to serve to honor the fallen, to push the potential of the country they love. In my group, mottos motivate, inspire. The 100th motto, remember Pearl Harbor. Let's remember Pearl Harbor and the sacrifices and pain it brought to those who lost loved ones and how it changed families. Remember this throughout each conflict and war after, that all our veterans and families endure. The 100th 442nd motto, go on, values. The soldiers of the 100th 442nd Regiment Combat Team inspire all. In the Army's motto, this will defend. Of defending the idea of America, grounded in our Constitution as one. Our veterans, not just in uniform, but as Americans. Veterans freedom, liberty, and hope, and these come at a cost. And those who came before us created, inspired the following generation after them. Today, we celebrate all veterans, past and present. Many with imprinted wounds from service, scars from combat they carry, and the many sacrifices made throughout the years. To all veterans, deepest gratitude, not just for your time in the military, but also for your continued service and leadership in our communities. Your sacrifice and love for this country set an example and inspire our next great generation. God bless organizations such as the Japanese American Veterans Association and the National Association. God bless our veterans. God bless America. Thank you.
Excuse me, please stay up here. Our President, General Mamata, would like to present something to you.
Well, first of all, thank you for those very warm and meaningful remarks. We really appreciate it, and on behalf of you with the Java coin,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
and you will find that on the back is your name and today's date inscribed. Also, as a token of appreciation, I want to present you this image of the Go for Broke stamp that came out last year.
Thank you.
Something for your wall. And I think you are a Java member, but if you are not, here's an application for membership. But for sharing this beautiful day with us, you made it even more beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Howard?
Next, we have the laying of the wreath with Mark Nakagawa and our distinguished guest. moment of silence first? First then moment. Yes. Sir? Yeah. Can you get everyone to stand? All right. Everyone stand for this. Please, everybody stand for taps.
Present arms. Order arms.
May we now have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Before we close, I want to thank everybody for joining us here. It's a very, very important day for all of us. Being here, free like this, is a testament to what importance veterans have done for us all. Okay. And before we close, our President, Jerry Amada, would like to make an announcement.
Thank you, Howard. To the extent you didn't receive a Veterans Day pin, I think we have some more left, so see neat. And if you want a Veterans Day 2022 pin, the only announcement I have, I think, is in February we're going to have a virtual general meeting. It's our annual meeting. But this year is going to be a little different in that we're going to talk about the future of Java and hopefully talk about a strategic plan going forward. Howard has volunteered to head that effort, and I think the first big step is this first virtual meeting where we'll have input and hopefully one of many discussions. Other than that, we're planning some events for next year. It's still in the planning session, so it's premature to disclose them. But I think if the plans come together, it'll be a spectacular year for Java again. Again, Monica, Lieutenant Colonel Williams, thank you very much for being here with us. Wade, thank you for introducing her. And Howard, thank you for emceeing it. Have a nice day.
And before we close completely, one more person here, Mark Navgawa, would like to say something.
Wade, please join me up here, please.
Okay.
One of the things that Wade would always do for us is sing, and there is history to the reason why we sing this song. I wish to invite Wade to please start us in singing "God Bless America," and please tell the audience why we sing it. It's a compelling reason why we sing it, sir. So if you could tell us why and start, and we'll continue the song with you, sir.
Well, in the Special Operations world, God Bless America has been sung on many occasions. In my case, the last time on active duty that I sung it was on April 23rd, 1980, as we were about to launch from Wadi Kenya, Egypt, in an attempt to rescue 53 American hostages being held in Tehran. We failed, but nonetheless, We were appreciative to God for not having a major loss of life. We lost 8 that day, but we could have lost a lot more. So please join me in singing God Bless America. 1, 2, 3. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night, the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Wade. And this concludes our 2022 Veterans Day Observance Ceremony. Thank you very much. Be safe, everybody. A good idea, though. Very good idea.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.